Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about allocation algorithms for frames. What are the different types of allocations, that is equal allocation and proportional allocation? How proportional allocation be advantageous over the equal allocation, and how a high priority process be advantageous over the low priority process. The easiest way to divide m frames among n processes is the way of splitting up m frames in an equal share of giving n processes. Thus, each process is having m by n frames. Thus, if we have 93 frames and say suppose 5 processes, then the 5 processes will have 18 frames per each process, and the leftover 3 processes will be considered as a free frame of pool. Now, this type of proportion allocation is known as an equal allocation. But in another strategy, we need to determine that the varying processes of sizes will need different types of allocation of frames. Say suppose in a system, a frame is of 1 KB size, and 2 processes, one student process of 10 KB, another interact process of 126 KB, are the only 2 processes running on the system. So it is generally a very wasteful idea to divide the number of frames, that is 62 frames, 31 frames per each process, as the student process will need only 10 frames at maximum, wasting the other 21 frames, whereas the interactive process will need this frame and serve it purposefully. Now, this type of allocation is known as proportional allocation, where we can, according to the size, can divide and allocate the frames to the processes. So here we can say that we will allocate number of frames AI to a process of PI whose size is SI. So we can define that is all the sum of the sizes of the particular pages in the processes is equal to the sum of the total pages that is available in the system. Now, if we divide the number of frames m in these n processes, which is the sum of the process pi, so we can say that ai equals to So that is the equal share they are grabbing is not a problem or not a scenario here. Here we are allocating with a portion of this is, say suppose 10 upon 137 for the particular example that we have described, and multiplying with the exact number of frames that is available to us will give I the AI number of frames that we need to allocate to process PI. So here ay must be an integer that is not limiting the exceeding of minimum requirement of frames that by a program, and also it should not exceed the sum of the frames that is available, that is it should not exceed this m. So according to the problem, we can now calculate the student process frame and the interactive process frame in this way. So here we are defining AIS as the student process and AII as the interactive process. So now every process are getting the share of the frames according to their size, not with the equal proportion or the equal frames of number. Now in both equal and proportional allocation, the system performance depends generally vary on the multi-programming level. If the multi-programming degree is increasing, then the process may lose many of the frames because the memory is needed for the newly creating process or the process that has been added to the system. Similarly, if the multi-programming degree decreases, then the departed process allocated with the frames now can be divided among the processes that are currently executing inside this particular system. Now for the allocation scheme, all the priorities does not matter. That is, the high priority process is same and equal as the low priority process. But by definition, however, we know that we should allocate memory more to the high priority process to speed up its execution. So here we can use this proportional allocation ratio whether we are using the size of the relative and getting it to the priority based. That is, there we are not using this SI by S, rather we are ratio of a priority. The high priority process will be given many frames and the low priority process will get low frames. So this combination of the size and frames and priority can also be done while allocation of the proportional with considering the priority frames. So this is for the allocation of frames, that is the algorithm we are using, an advantage over the proportional allocation and the equal allocation. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.